Single in the first. Watch out.
Look at this. Upton pops it up. Left side, Elvis Anderson backpedaling. He is under it. He puts it away. The Texas Rangers have won a postseason series.
The Texas Rangers are American League champions.
And welcome to another edition of Right on Rangers Live. Thursday, February 19th, eve of spring training. Game starting up. Good stuff for sure. Lot to talk about tonight. A lot of news coming out of MLB today with some of the things going on for next year. Potential strike. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some individual Rangers that we've been going back and forth with people on all week long. I'm excited about that. It's good to be back hanging with y'all. Baseball season ever fast approaching, and I'm ready to get back into the groove of it. We are going to be live most of spring training on Thursdays, but we will also make some time available, maybe night games, maybe some weekend games that are a little bit easier to go live immediately after for all those of us that have a day job. So we are going to be locked in all spring training long. And of course, if anything major happens, any big news coming out of Rangerland, we will 1000% be going live to talk about it. May go live tomorrow. First game, Evo is going to be starting tomorrow, by the way. Nate Eovaldi, Nasty Nate on the bump. It's going to be fun to watch him. It's going to be good just seeing everybody back out there on the field again. Well, let's start here, man. There's some news coming out of MLB that we are going to see both sides, both the players and the owners, really digging their heels in. You had John Heyman report, I think it was earlier today, that there are both sides kind of stockpiling funds to make sure that in the case of a strike, there's a little windfall for all the owners and even for the players as well. They're doing that on their side. And it seems like the players at this point are totally all in on not allowing a salary cap. And the owners are just the opposite. You know, of course, this is all posturing and positioning at the beginning of the new 2026 season here. You're going to hear a lot of this kind of stuff throughout this year. A lot of it, to me, is trying to get stuff out there in the media, trying to stir the pot, messing with the fans. I mean, can we just be real? Both sides, I think, are going to be messing with the fans a little bit here on this one. Each side wants to get the fans on their side. I've vacillated back and forth, just whatever report comes out. I feel like you can see both sides in this one. You can see why a salary cap would be a good thing. You can see why, from the player's perspective, it wouldn't be. And I think that I've gone back and forth on this. I tend to think that it's been this way for a long, long time. I don't really know if a salary cap is actually going to encourage any owner that's not spending right now to spend. I don't see that happening. I think that a salary cap is a way to put more money in owners' pockets. And if I just had to pick a side right now, I'm siding with the players. I think that the owners right now are already a majority careful about the way they spend their money. There is a top tier that spends money pretty frivolously, and I think we know who some of those clubs are. But the clubs that right now aren't spending money, I don't expect to suddenly start spending money if a salary cap was in place. I don't know. I think that there's a little bit of a fallacy out there that if you get the salary cap, if you get a salary floor, either one, you're going to see owners start spending more. I'll believe it when I see it, to be completely honest. I do not think that a salary cap or a salary floor is going to get a bunch of owners suddenly spending money. And if you do have that salary floor, you're going to see, I think, a number of owners just barely get above it. Just barely get above that salary floor. I think that my guy Mason put it well in our Discord earlier. You got to enjoy baseball in 2026 as much as you possibly can, because I do see some games being missed in 2027. I think in the last stoppage, we missed about a month of the season, if I'm not mistaken. I think games got started up in early May. I think that we have another one of those types of situations coming down the pike here. I do see some games being missed. I would be very surprised if we miss 0 games and the entire season stays on track to start at its normal time, end of March, opening day 2027. More on that as it comes. We'll try and keep you updated throughout the offseason, but right now, John Heyman reporting each side, the players and the owners, really digging those heels in. Owners dead set on a salary cap. Players dead set on not giving any ground when it comes to that. We'll see what happens. I am not a fan of the cap. I could maybe get on board with a floor, but I'm not a fan of the cap. I don't see owners being more encouraged to spend money with the salary cap. And if you get a salary floor, I think there's still going to be those owners that just barely spend above it. And that's just how it goes. I'm curious to see what happens with the Rangers. You know, they clearly are playing it safe right now before any kind of strike or work stoppage happens. I think that a number of reasons that maybe the club didn't spend as much this offseason might be related to that 2027 CBA agreement expiring. I'm not making excuses for them. Don't get me wrong. I'm not making any excuses. There's a ton of teams that actually did spend in the face of a CBA expiration date. And so I don't excuse the Rangers, but I do think that you can point to that as a reason why there may have been some hesitancy. The Rangers' biggest signing of this offseason, let's just say it out loud. The Rangers' biggest signing this offseason was Danny Jansen at $7.5 million. I mean, let that sink in. The biggest signing this offseason was Danny Jansen, $7.5 million. Yes, I know. We traded for Nimmo. We traded for Mackenzie Gore. I get it. I still say out loud, $7.5 million was your largest signing. You didn't take on a lot more money with Nimmo. That was the whole point of the trade. You didn't take on a whole lot more money with Mackenzie Gore. In fact, you saved money by trading for Mackenzie Gore, who is still in his ARB years, versus re-signing Tyler Mahle, re-signing Merrill Kelly. I know Merrill Kelly's not the most popular pitcher around Ranger Nation. I like Merrill. I think that in his biggest moments with the team, he didn't come through for us. The Astros series in September comes to mind. We needed a gem from Merrill. He kind of came out and soiled the bed, unfortunately. I think Merrill Kelly, by and large, was solid for us. Could have pitched better. Would have been a guy that I would have been interested in re-signing. I don't know if it would have been at the price of 2 years, $40 million. But I do think that Merrill Kelly would have been, and is going to be a solid option for the Diamondbacks this year in 2026. So you don't go and get either one of those guys back. You bring in Gore. Your biggest signing is Danny Jansen at $7.5 million. I do think that as I look at this team, marginally maybe better, I could say, at best. I don't think this team is leaps and bounds better. I don't think that this team took the next step towards a championship in 2026. I really feel like anybody saying that is kind of burying their head in the sand and playing the eternal optimist card. Marginally better at best is what I can give for a grade for this offseason. I think you lost Marcus Semien and you're replacing with Josh Smith. A lot of people, I think, are high on Josh Smith's potential this year. And of course, I'm rooting for Josh Smith as well. It's a question mark. I don't know how you could grade it as anything different. I don't know how you could analyze it any differently. Josh Smith at second base is a question mark. You've had Josh back-to-back years starting off very strong, and you've seen him fade in the second half. Maybe playing one set position will unlock Josh Smith in those ways. Maybe not. But I think you got a little worse at second base. I think you traded basically Nimmo for Garcia in the outfield. I clearly understand that the trade was Nimmo and Simeon, not Nimmo and Garcia, but that's how it works. You replaced Garcia with Nimmo. You replaced Simeon with Josh Smith, and you replaced Jonah Heim with Danny Jansen, who, despite the positivity that a number of outlets and a number of fans, I think, have pushed forth with Danny Jansen, I see Danny as only a marginal upgrade over Jonah Heim at this point. I know you can point to stats. This stat's a little better. That stat's a little better. I don't think Danny Jansen is giving you 5 extra wins this year. I don't know if it's even at 3. I don't even know if it's at 2. It might be at 1. Might be. I think the Rangers got marginally better at best. And again, the biggest signing of the offseason was $7.5 million. Let's just say those things out loud, and let's still stay united in that Texas, after missing 2 postseasons, they missed the last 2 postseasons. Back-to-back years, you missed the playoffs. I don't know who would disagree with me on this openly, and look, drop it in the comments if you do. Did this offseason feel like a team desperate, hungry, will stop at nothing to get back to October? Did it feel that way to you? It didn't feel that way to me. This offseason did not feel like a team that will let nothing stand in their way to get back to the postseason. I don't know who would disagree with that. I know that we can fluff up and gas up all of the different moves. Mackenzie Gore, the strikeouts, Nimmo, the 25 bombs, 92 RBI, on-base guy. Josh Smith playing one position, going to take the next step. Josh Jung going to rebound. But I mean, we could go all day long just gassing the whole lineup up. But at the same time, let's just ask the question once more. Was this an offseason where you felt that the Texas front office and ownership said, we are letting nothing stop us from getting back to October? I would say it's an emphatic no. That being said, once the team gets between those white lines, they'll have my support. They'll have my full support. And we are going to be covering them nearly every game here at Right On Rangers. Going live after nearly every game this season like we've done the past 2 years. I'm excited and I can't wait. I know right now I'm pushing a little bit on this team. And you might not like me for it. You might be nodding your head big time in agreement right now. Once this team gets between the white lines, they will have my full support. I'll still say you should have added a right-handed bat. I'll still say you should have shored up the back end of the bullpen. Those 2 things I don't know how you could disagree on. But this team will have my support when they get between those white lines. And you will see me, as I've always done, try and continue to put the best construction on this team. But if we are evaluating this offseason, was not where I would have wanted it to be if you are planning and you are dead set to get back to postseason glory in 2026. 50-50 for me. Okay, fair enough, Mace. No prediction until the trade deadline, but if healthy, 84 and 78. I did say I see this team's ceiling as being 85 or 86 wins. I don't think this is a 90-win team right now. I could definitely wait to the deadline as well, like Ethan's doing. But I don't think this is a 90-win team right now. I think 85, 86 wins is the ceiling. Could you see them maybe get into the 87, 88 range? Sure. But a lot would have to go right. You'd have to avoid injury. You'd have to be getting bounce backs from Josh Jung, Jake Berger, Josh Smith. I'll throw him in the bounce back category just because of how he ended the season last year. I think 85, 86 wins is my ceiling for this club right now. And that may be enough to get back to October. It may not be. It just depends. The AL is very competitive. You've got a bunch of dogs in the AL East. You've got the Red Sox, the Yankees. You've got the Blue Jays. Who knows how the Rays are going to be this year? You've also got the Orioles. You've got a bunch of dogs in that AL East fighting for wild card spots. The Rangers' best path is probably going to be the division, maybe a third wild card spot, but it's going to be tough. Mariners are going to be good again. Astros are going to be good again. I think the A's will be better than what they were last year, too. All right, let me get to comments. Appreciate all y'all. Do I think Jock is going to be better? I think Jock showing up 15 to 20 pounds lighter definitely makes a statement. I think that's huge. 15 to 20 pounds lighter. Great. Now we got to see the results, man. It doesn't matter if you're 250 or 230. Can you hit the ball and not have an average that's sub 200? That's what it comes down to, man. And that's what we've got to see from Jock. I think that Jock is going to be better than last year, but that's not some wise sage take, man. It would be pretty hard to be worse. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. It's just the fact. If Jock Peterson is worse than he was last year, I'm not sure he's going to make it to May. Jock has to be better. And it shouldn't be hard to be better. We're hoping for full season Carter instead of full count Carter. Let's talk a little bit about Evan Carter, huh? Let's talk Evan. Evan Carter as an everyday player has to be a thing this year. It has to be. You go back and look at Evan Carter's professional career as a Texas Ranger. It feels like they platooned him his entire professional career. And for a guy who is a top prospect, a guy who's a former top prospect, I should say, it's a little odd to me, the development process that the club has taken with Evan. Clearly, they caught fire with him in 2023, rode it all the way to a World Series. And we will be forever grateful for that. But this team has basically platooned this man his entire professional career since high school. I feel like in A-ball in 2021, I believe the ABs were about 100 versus righties and 50 versus lefties. And from there, 2022 and on, Evan Carter's at-bats against lefties just kept getting lower and lower. Let me say this out loud to you about Evan Carter. Evan Carter has played 5 seasons with the Texas Rangers, both major and minor leagues. 5 seasons. Yes, I understand that he's been hurt off and on for some of those 5. Evan Carter has 338 career appearances at the plate against lefties. 338 in 5 seasons. Just to kind of give you a little perspective, a lot of guys in the major leagues, you're getting anywhere from 200 to 300 against lefties in a season. So Evan Carter is averaging 68 plate appearances versus lefties in his professional baseball career with the Texas Rangers. Does that sound like good development to you? Evan has faced lefties on average 68 times, major and minor leagues, in the 5 years he's been with the organization. By the way, that question is rhetorical. I don't understand how you're expecting Evan Carter to develop into any kind of everyday star if you're only having him take 68 appearances, 68 plate appearances versus lefties each year. It's not going to work. They've got to decide whether or not this guy is going to be an everyday player or whether they do not see him as anything more than a platoon piece. And I think if you are going to platoon this guy in perpetuity, consider trading him. I think there's going to be another team out there that would love to play this guy every day. I feel like if it doesn't work out as an everyday player this year, do you have to deal Evan Carter? Do you have to do something drastic? No. But if it's not going well against lefties this year, could you get the stock back up a little bit and potentially dangle him out there for a trade? Maybe. I think the Rangers have to be focused on developing everyday players in their minor league system. Another mind-blowing stat coming from Eyes on the Ball on X. Eyes on the Ball 95 is the handle. He writes for the Prospect Times. Love his stuff. Love the Prospect Times as well. Go follow them on X or any social that you have. Here's what Eyes on the Ball wrote. Kip Fagg is the Texas Rangers scouting director. He took over in 2009. Since 2009, the Rangers have had 2 All-Stars that they have drafted and developed. Grand total of 2 All-Stars that the Texas Rangers have drafted and developed since 2009. The Rangers have to figure out a way to develop players at a higher level. And by the way, this guy is still in charge at this point. Kip is still the scouting director. 2 All-Stars. By the way, you want to do a little trivia with me? I know who it is, so I can't participate, but who are the 2 All-Stars that the Rangers have drafted and developed since 2009 into All-Stars? Any guesses on that? McJ, you're good. Joey Gallo is one of them. Odor is not. I don't think he's technically considered. Joey Gallo is one of the All-Stars. Josh Jung, Trash Panda, you got the other one. Josh Jung and Joey Gallo are the only 2 All-Stars. The only 2. Nate got it as well. Matt got it as well. That have been drafted and developed by Texas since 2009. Now, look, you also have Yu Darvish, who was obviously posted in Japan and was at an all-star level over in Japan before he came here. He was another guy that the Rangers, I don't know if you can even consider that an international signing. That's about the best you got. Yu Darvish, I think, was already ready to go. I don't give any credit for Yu Darvish. But 2 guys. It's pathetic. And look, I would love to be able to give y'all all of the other teams and how many they've drafted and developed. I was going back and forth with Eyes on the Ball on X. I believe his name's Reggie. And I was basically asking, how many have other teams produced since 2009? Is it like a crazy amount and the Rangers are just sitting at the bottom? 2 guys, though. That, to me, is extremely telling. And look, you can say All-Stars are overrated. You can say that if you want. It's a fan vote. That doesn't mean that the Rangers haven't had any other players that have been talented. But we're talking about groundbreaking star. I don't want to say superstar, but just groundbreaking star power. It hasn't been a lot. And so if you want to go back and forth about the all-star thing, fine. But I would still submit to you, who are you naming as like some legitimate key piece? Now, Wyatt Langford is clearly going to be one of those guys. Wyatt Langford is going to be an all-star at some point. But you know what? I even have a little bit of a caveat with Wyatt Langford, because Wyatt Langford went to Florida. He was in the minors for, less than a year? I mean, this isn't a guy that you drafted out of high school that you're developing from 18 into a star. Does Reagan's count? McJ, Reagan's is just a painful reminder. I mean, I maybe you could throw out Reagan's, but I think KC unlocked Cole Reagan's. I don't think Texas had a whole lot to do with that. Yeah, I think at this point, you have to think the Rangers have to look inward. The development, their ability to bring guys up from 18 to 22, 23, high producing players. It absolutely is concerning at this point. Keep on going. Brian, what's good, man? Thanks for hanging out. Leiter is going to be up there. Osuna might be up there. I mean, these guys are definitely promising. Jack Leiter, I do think the Rangers could take credit for, because although Leiter pitched at Vanderbilt, they have spent a lot of TLC on Jack Leiter. A lot. So I think you could take credit for Leiter. Wyatt Langford, sure. But Wyatt kind of came to you already gift wrapped. I think Jack would probably be the guy you look at if Jack Leiter can turn into an all-star. I think he's the guy you look at as Okay, we developed some pitching. Still looking for that position guy. Maybe it's Evan Carter. And maybe there's some other guys up and coming too. But the Rangers, since 2009, 2 All-Stars drafted and developed. Painful. Walcott, UCL, by the way. A couple of you guys are mentioning Walcott. Walcott, UCL. He is going to be out for most of this season. Kumar Rocker Matt could be up there as well. Definitely. CY pushed for Leiter. Yeah, I could absolutely see that. CY has basically hit it out of the park with most of his pitching moves. The Merrill Kelly one is a little bit of an eyesore, giving up the 3 prospects, the 3 top 15 prospects for Merrill Kelly. That one's a bit of an eyesore, but a lot of other moves CY has really hit on. And if he was a big pusher on that Leiter draft pick, I mean, look, I don't know how controversial the Leiter pick actually was. I think if you or me were sitting in that draft room, we probably would have snagged Jack Leiter where we did. But look, nevertheless, you got to pull the trigger on the move. CY and company did. And Jack Leiter is coming along as a solid major league player. Is he at an all-star level yet? I think that this year is going to tell you a lot. I don't know if Jack is going to make it to the all-star game this July. But at the same time, the trajectory is positive, and I think that's what's most important here. All right, keep going. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. 5 for Gore, good or no? I do think, and by the way, I appreciate the comment, man. Thanks for hanging out. I do think that the Mackenzie Gore trade was solid. I look at the 5 that we gave up. I think Ortiz is one of the bigger names you look at, and there's a couple of other arms in there that could be high upside, but I think that the Rangers did well to improve without a big-time signing because clearly the budget was a factor. Hate that or love it. I hate it, but you did the best you could, I guess, with what you had available. And what the Rangers had available were prospects that they were willing to trade to improve instead of spending money on free agent contracts. I think looking at getting 2 years of Gore, and hopefully it's 2 years, right? Because if there's a lockout, you could potentially lose out on time with Mackenzie Gore, but let's keep things positive. You got 2 years with Gore. I think that is worth it. You're on line with Evo and DeGrom in their contracts. I think that's even more perfect. So you basically got 2 years of DeGrom, Evo, Gore. And that, to me, is a big, big win. You never know how prospects are going to work out. I'm not a big prospect hoarder. You guys know this. That doesn't mean I don't like learning about prospects. That doesn't mean I don't like watching prospects come up through the system. In fact, it's the exact opposite. I actually really enjoy getting into the nitty-gritty of the A-ball, rookie, of the DCL teams. I love it. But at the same time, running a franchise, it has to be a balance. But if you have an opportunity to win a World Series, and like the Rangers, if you have vets on the team that are in their final years of prime play, and I would say DeGrom, Evo, Corey Seager getting there, you go all in and you worry about the prospects later. I think there are clearly Mike Trouts and Bryce Harpers and Joe Mauers and prospects that you're just not going to trade because it's very obvious that they are going to be bona fide studs one day. I think Wyatt Langford fits in that category too. But, when you get into the nitty-gritty of, your 10th prospect, your 15th ranked prospect in your farm, it starts getting dicey. And I mean, I'm with Cody Freeman, who came on the show a few weeks ago. Cody basically said, the prospect lists are a little bit overrated. And I agree. And I also would say, if you have the opportunity to trade prospects to get better right now and go all in with prime vets, do it. And so from that angle, I do really like the Mackenzie Gore trade. We keep on going. Do I think the Teodo injury is a worry, or will we see him this year? Appreciate the comment, man. I don't know if we're going to see Teodo this year. Personally, I'm not a big fan of pushing prospects at all when they're hurt. You might as well just let them totally heal up and get better. So I hope that they're taking a cautious approach. Teodo had a little bit of an up and down 2025. I think a lot of people in spring training really thought that Teodo was going to be an impact player for Texas at some point, maybe later in the season. Just never came to fruition. I don't think that the production was where it needed to be. That doesn't mean Teodo isn't talented. That doesn't mean that we're not going to see him in the next couple of years in a Rangers uni making big time contributions. But I do think that Teodo should be given ample time to get back to 100%. There's no reason, especially with your pitching prospects who are very valuable, especially guys like Teodo that can start. Your starting pitching prospects, so valuable. I mean, those guys are, I would say, premium price. So that's why you're seeing Caden Scarborough's stock rocket up. Dude's a really good starting pitcher, rising through the ranks. Starting pitchers are like gold in a prospect system. And that's why a lot of y'all who have tried to talk me into Kumar Rocker as a closer, I've said no over and over again. I do not want to see the Rangers turn Kumar Rocker into a relief pitcher. It instantly decreases his value, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's not worth disrupting the development process to make him a closer for a year when he's going to be infinitely more valuable to you as a starting pitcher down the road and down the stretch. We keep going. How's Jordan Montgomery going to do? I think he's out till June or July. Somebody check me on that. Definitely would love to see him be that fifth starter for us. I don't know if that's guaranteed, but I do think at this point, seeing him back on the mound at Globe Life is going to be something special, and I can't wait. I'm hopeful that he has a turnaround year. Yeah, Brian, I'm with you. Prospects have so many ways to get lost in an organization, 100%. Mason, good assessment here. With the Gore trade, they traded away guys that won't impact the team now. They needed a guy who could impact now. Some of those 5 guys that they traded for Gore might make a difference later. They might totally flame out. That's why I'm always a fan of, if you can get better now and you've got the vets like DeGrom, Evo, Seager, etc., you go for it. Especially with the big contracts that the Rangers have invested in DeGrom, Evo, and Seager. Like, why are you paying those guys if you aren't planning on actually being competitive and trying to win a World Series championship? Makes little to no sense. That was my argument way back when the idea of trading Profar was being passed around. Absolutely. Absolutely. Profar, unfortunately, you probably would have loved to have traded Profar at the pinnacle of the hype. Profar, number 1 prospect in baseball. Leody Taveras was another guy. Man, imagine the altering move that could have been made had you traded Leody Taveras at his pinnacle of hype. That's why you look back at prospects and you say, did we really need to hold on to this guy? It's just not many prospects that turn into Mike Trouts, Bryce Harpers, Aaron Judges. A lot of them end up being okay or good bench depth, but not a lot of them turn into all-star level players. And so that's why even with Walcott, I don't say no. A lot of people know you can't trade Walcott. Absolutely not. No way. He's untouchable. No, he's not. No, he's not. If you get something incredible for Sebastian Walcott that makes a ton of sense for your team right now, I don't think you should hesitate. Now, you don't want to get fleeced, but by no means should Sebastian Walcott be untouchable. That makes no sense to me. If you get a great deal, somebody really loves Walcott, I think you got to listen. Depends on what it is, but the Rangers have gotten burned in the past by not trading prospects when they were at the pinnacle of their hype, like Profar, like Taveras. And it just goes to show you, they don't always pan out. Natalie, what's good? No, I haven't watched much of the Olympics at all. I've seen a couple of things here and there on social media. I saw the women's hockey golden goal today. That was phenomenal. Amazing. I've seen some of the different skiing stuff, like, of course, feel terrible, but saw like the Lindsey Vonn crash. I've seen only highlights on social media. I don't know. with the Winter Olympics, it goes back and forth for me. Like if it's on, sure, I'll watch it, but I don't know. I'm watching more basketball, keeping my eye on Ranger stuff. That's just me. We keep on going. Appreciate you guys. What do I think about the Little Rascals for the season? Cowboy fan, appreciate you, man. I think that it's going to be really interesting to see which Little Rascals actually make the opening day roster. The way you think about it right now, the Rangers have four-ish, I'll say four bench spots available. One of them is going to Danny Jansen. I'm just assuming Kyle Higashioka is the opening day starter. One of those bench spots, one of those four hitting bench spots is going to Jansen. I think the other one's going to go to Sam Haggerty, Mr. Swaggerty, as we like to call him here on the show. And then there's two spots available. Now, I think you've got to think about Heyman. You've got to think about Freeman. You also have to think about Ezekiel Duran. And then you've got a couple of other names in the mix there as well. I think it is going to be a really tough competition to see who gets those final two bench spots. We haven't seen anything in spring training right now. Alejandro Osuna is another name you could throw in that mix. So you've got Osuna, you've got Freeman, you've got Heyman, you've got Duran. I don't see them keeping Osuna at this point. And you guys know I love Alex Osuna, but I don't think that there's room for a lefty outfielder on the bench at this point. Now, you think about Mike Heyman. Mike Hellman's saving grace is that he is versatile out in the field. He can play second base. He can play shortstop. In fact, Mike Heyman is getting shortstop reps this spring, according to Skip Schumacher. So Mike Hellman's saving grace is he's versatile. I do think Mike Heyman will be on the opening day roster. And so that leaves you, realistically, Cody Freeman, Zeke Duran. I think it's between those two guys for the last bench spot. And it's going to depend on how they play this spring. I'd probably give the slight nod to Zeke Duran just because he's been up in the big leagues a little bit more than Cody. I love Cody Freeman. There's no shade at the guy. I'm just giving you my prediction on what I think is going to end up happening. I think the bench is going to be, if I had to guess right now without any spring training games played, I think the bench is going to be Jansen. I think it's going to be Haggerty. I think it's going to be Heyman, and I think it's going to be Duran. Unless they go out and sign somebody else, I think those will be the four guys. You've got your 10, your 9, I should say, starters, and then you've got your 4 bench guys, and then you've got all your pitchers as well. So I think those will be the 4. You tell me if I got it wrong, but on the bench, I think it's going to be Jansen, Heyman, and then, of course, you've also got Swaggerty and you got Duran. Maybe Cody Freeman with a killer spring beats out Duran. Maybe one of them is able to beat out Heyman. But I just think versatility is going to win out here. And unfortunately for Alex Osuna, who I love, I think that the fact that he is basically right now a platoon player who plays outfield only is hurting him. And so it probably would be best for him to go down, be an everyday starter at AAA, get better against lefties. You're already dealing with Evan Carter, who is a lefty, I don't want to say lefty only guy, but a guy we all know typically is only in the lineup against against righty starters, out against lefties. Mark Canha could be an interesting one. Mace, do you know, is he working out anywhere beyond outfield? Do they have him working any infield spots? I don't know if there's any news out there or not, but obviously Mark Canha was a late signing. Can't say that I'm super impressed with what he's done the past couple of years. Maybe he comes on strong in the spring. I still think it's going to end up being those guys that I mentioned just for versatility's sake. So think about it, right? Beyond Jansen, Haggerty, Heyman, Duran can all play infield and outfield. So a part of me wonders why you would really keep Canha if he's not able to play multiple positions well. Yes, he's a solid right-handed bat. I don't know what the splits are for Canha against lefties. I'll actually try and look that up right now and see if I can figure out what they are. But Wes, you're mentioning Canha too. Michael, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. Foscue, somebody's bringing up Foscue on TikTok. Look, I feel for Justin Foscue. I just think Foscue has an uphill battle, man. You just have not seen enough out of him with the opportunities that he has received. Granted, it's not like he has hundreds of plate appearances at the major league level. They did say Foscue is working out in the outfield a little bit. It would actually be really great if Foscue could figure it out, because we need right-handed hitting. And if Foscue could be that right-handed power bat that he was built to be when we drafted him, that would be a dream come true. I just don't know if Foscue is going to figure it out. Mark Canha in 2025, by the way, the platoon stats, again, I remember looking at this right after they signed him against lefties in 2025. 35 games, 607 OPS. 607 OPS for Mark Canha against lefties. Let's go ahead and let's look at 2024 just to see if maybe 5 was an anomaly. 774 OPS against lefties in 2024. That makes me feel a little better. 275 batting average to go along with it. I think Mark Canha is going to have his work cut out for him. Again, if you can have a versatile player like Zeke Duran, Mike Heyman, Sam Haggerty, I think you're going to go that direction over a guy that can only play one spot, unless Canha comes out just firing, hitting balls over the fence. Foscue, I think, is going to have to do the same thing, in all honesty. Keep going. Wes, absolutely, man. Miguel, Dodgers are going to be tough this year. Dodgers are going to be tough this year. 100%. I think they are definitely the favorite in the NL, if not to win the whole thing. I know Vegas thinks they are. We keep going. Drop a comment. Look, I know that I've been yakking and going back and forth with a few different people in the comments in a good way. But if I missed your comment, drop it again. I'd love to get to it. Wes, do I see a lockout coming? Yeah, we talked about the lockout to start the show. The owners are dead set on the salary cap. The players are dead set against it. Both sides have kind of been stockpiling money in the event of a lockout, which seems very likely. So I think we'll probably end up missing some games in 2027. Unfortunately, I don't want to bring the vibes down on the show, but as my good buddy Mason said a few minutes ago, longer than that, but you know what I mean. Got to enjoy baseball in 2026. Got to enjoy it, because you just don't know how many games are going to get played in 2027. David, enjoy, man. Spring training, home opener tomorrow. Definitely exciting. Have fun watching Evo pitch. Man, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a live this weekend after the first few games. We'll see. I don't know what I'll be able to pull off with the schedule. Got to figure it out, but that would be fun. Let me see what time are the games tomorrow. Let me go to MLB.com here and check this out. See kind of what the feel is for when games are. Texas plays at looks like 12:05. Okay, cool. Let's see. February 21st, Saturday. I'm just trying to get the feel of when they play. So they play in the afternoon on Saturday. They play in the afternoon, looks like, on Sunday as well. So cool. We might be able to do some weekend lives. I might actually end up doing that. I'll have to see. That's going to be fun. Sucks they won't be showing any of the games. Yeah, that to me is frustrating. I've always said, I'm actually really glad you brought this up, Holly. Good to see you. Why wouldn't you spring training show every single game? It makes no sense to me. I know it requires money, but you've got all these people paying MLB TV. You've got the ESPN partnership now. You've got money coming in. I'd pay $5 extra to be able to watch every spring training game. I mean, look, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I know some of y'all are very principled and you don't want to spend any more money. Give any more money to MLB and all these different streaming services. But I'm like, you know what? Shoot, I'll pay $5 extra if you let me watch every spring training game. For real. I don't know why they don't figure it out. I'd really like to see them broadcast every single game. Although, I don't know if y'all saw the news. Apparently, the Angels are not showing any spring training games. No spring training games if you're an Angels fan. I think the Rangers are at least showing a few on RSN. Man, to be an Angels fan, goodness. Ugh. I think 2025 was an outlier. Oh, for Canna. Yeah, hopefully it is, Mace. Hopefully that was, because 2025 was not good. Brian says, we were supposed to have a young trio to usher us into the future with Carter, Jung, and Langford. Now there are questions and hopes that it doesn't fall apart. Well, with Josh Jung especially. Josh Jung, by the way, I want to talk about him real quick. Sorry, I had a notification pop up on my phone. Somebody was trying to call me. I need to go do not disturb, man. I'm getting bugged by texts and calls. We got to cut that out. Josh Jung came out, I think it was yesterday, and said that his word for this year, his new favorite word, is obsessed. He's trying to become obsessed again when it comes to baseball. And I think there's two ways that you can take that with Josh Jung. First of all, I do think it's concerning. He's very green. This guy isn't like some crazy seasoned vet, right? He played in 23, 24, 25. I know he debuted in 22, but this isn't a guy that's been in the league for a crazy amount of time. He's dealt with some injuries, but 2025 makes a little bit more sense when you hear Josh Jung say that he's trying to become obsessed again with the game. Clearly, maybe a little passion lacking last season. Again, you kind of connect some dots. I don't think that that's like a disrespectful thing to do here. But I also think good for Josh, taking some accountability. Not a lot of players are going to be honest with you in the media. So good for Josh actually coming out and saying, yeah, I'm trying to become obsessed again. I lost a little bit of that fire, a little bit of that obsession over the last however long, 1-2 seasons. And I'm becoming obsessed again with the game. Good for him. Again, you can crap on him and you can get on him all you want. And I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it sucks to hear that. Like, I feel for the guy. I wish that he would have had a better 24 and 25. I think a lot of people want to see Josh Jung succeed. San Antonio boy, Texas Tech alum. It just would be a great story, right? But hopefully in 2026, the new obsession for Josh Jung, the newfound obsession, will pay dividends. Hey, Caleb, love this hoodie. Favorite hoodie I got, Rangers-wise, man. I bought as much of the gold stuff as I could. You don't know how long it's going to last, man, until the next one. You got to cherish it. Have to cherish it. Yeah. Mace, you're right. The Angels, man, what are they doing? It's just never good when you're totally leaving your fans in the dark all spring training long. At least RSN is showing a few games here and there. Like I said, they need to show all the games. They need to figure out a way to make that happen. I wouldn't even care. Get somebody's phone, man. The freaking iPhones now are incredible with the cameras. Get somebody with the Pro Max to just post up in center field. And you know what? Maybe you don't get the entire field shot, but at least you get batter, pitcher, and then maybe you sync it up with the radio and you call it a day. Come on now. Come on now. I think that is a very fair compromise. Go get somebody with a tripod up at there in center field. Give us at least the pitcher, batter, battle, and we'll go from there, man. We'll sync it up with the audio, Jared and Eric Nadel and all the guys, man. That'd be great. Brian, I guess that's above our pay grade, my friend, because I've thought the same thing many times. How about y'all go ahead and fill RSN with all the spring training games? What else are y'all doing right now? Come on. Come on. Yeah, the Mavs season is gone. Look, obviously we're repping the Mavs. I know TikTok. I know y'all can't see it, but we love the Mavs here at Right On Rangers. Big Dallas Mavericks fan. For all of y'all that don't know, I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I know a bunch of y'all longtime listeners know the spiel, but went to Arlington High. Pretty much every Dallas-Fort Worth team, massive, massive fan of. And the Mavs are one of them. Since the Luka trade, man, it just hasn't felt quite the same. But Cooper Flagg is getting me excited. Kyrie shut down. Anthony Davis traded. That was inevitable. It hurts. I don't like being so disconnected from the NBA season because I do enjoy basketball a lot. I'm hoping that the March Madness tourney kind of brings back my fire for it a little bit, but it's on to October. meaning next October for the Dallas Mavericks, man. We'll see what kind of offseason they have. All right, we keep rolling. He won a World Series in his rookie year. Wonder if he didn't set goals for himself. Oh, Zach, you're talking about Jungle Cat? I don't know. I've got to attribute it to the injuries that Josh Jung suffered and just to the lack of production in 24 and 25 just weighing on him. I'm not excusing anything here, but I appreciate the honesty. Josh Jung didn't have to tell us that, he was struggling a little bit with the passion for the game. He didn't have to say that. He did. So I don't want to crucify the guy, but I'll say 24 and 25 make a lot more sense when Josh Jung comes out and says, I'm trying to become obsessed again with the game. It makes more sense, right? So I don't think we crucify the guy for being honest. He did not have to give us that, and he did. Good for him. But when you hear him say obsessed again, man, you hope that something is going to click this year with the Jungle Cat. Get that fire back. You get a little strength back. You get healthier. And you come out firing in 2026. We talked about with Josh Jung. Obviously, he had the wrist injury in 2024. We talked about with Josh Jung how you saw a massive dip in his exit velo post-wrist injury. Before the wrist injury, Josh Jung was an above-average exit velo guy. Hit the ball hard. Then he came back after the wrist injury in 2024 and even into 2025, and the exit velo had taken a pretty significant dip. And so I just keep hoping every offseason that wrist and just everything comes together with Josh health-wise, and he comes back hitting the ball hard. Maybe this is the offseason. Baseball news, I'm with you on this. Appreciate you hanging out. I do think that pitching is going to carry the Rangers yet again, and you can only hope that the offense just isn't as bad as what it was in 2025. Like we talked about with Jock Peterson, I think it would be hard to be worse than what we got in 2025. I'll knock on some wood behind me here. I think it'd be hard to be worse, but, we don't want to speak these things into existence. Mace says the wrist injury he had was very tough, fractures in multiple places. We'll get some strength back this year. Definitely can be demoralizing. Yeah, it was wild. Like, let me take you to Baseball Savant right now for Josh Jung. And let me just put some numbers out there for you so you understand what we're talking about here. We're not just spouting off random nonsense. So Josh Jung in 2023, exit velo was 87th percentile. I mean, you look at this guy's exit velo, hard hit percentage. There is a ton of red on Josh Jung's Baseball Savant page in 2023. A ton of red. You go to 2024, the exit velo goes from 87th percentile, 91.8 miles an hour on average, to 86.2. Dude lost 6 miles an hour of exit velo and was probably bottom 15th percentile. 2025, I believe he improved a little bit. The hard hit percentage was up to 70%. He got about 3 miles an hour back in the exit velo. Exit velo was 39th percentile, so still below average. You just hope that exit velo keeps creeping back up. Dude was scorching it at 92 miles an hour off the bat in 2023. It's been below 90 post wrist injury. You'd love to see Josh Jung get that exit velo back. Would love to see it happen. Keep on going. I'd be happy just to get the spring training games on the radio. Are they not doing radio games though, Matt? Help me out here, brother. I thought they did most radio games, but maybe they don't even do that. And I want to go full transparency mode with y'all. I am reading every box score and every story I can about spring training, but with the games being at 12 o'clock every day, I got a day job, and it is hard for me to keep track of all the spring training games play-by-play, but I surely will read as much as I possibly can. Not all of them. Okay, we'll have to check out when the games are televised. I'm going to try and see if I can get a schedule for you guys, which games are televised, which games aren't. We'll go from there, but it is disappointing to me. I think you should have every Rangers game either on radio or televised for fans to see and get excited about. Speaking of getting excited, where are the City Connects? Where is the City Connect logo reveal? Look, I told y'all when the season ended, reveal the City Connects in early December. December 1, reveal the City Connects so everybody can buy City Connect gear over the holidays and you can make a ton of cash. That's why you should have me running this organization, man. Where are the City Connects? No clue. And no word. Rangers Nation put out a tweet. There's no announced date for even a reveal. I am ready for these City Connects. You guys know I'm a fan of the Peagle. I like the City Connects that they've rocked for the past 3 seasons. I know some of y'all weren't a fan. I'd be okay if they just continued on with the same ones. That being said, I'm excited to see what they come up with, but it's killing the vibes a little bit that they still have not talked about when they are going to reveal the new ones. McJay, April 21, they finally came out with a date? Good. If that's the case, April 21, man. Telling you, holidays would have been a perfect time to reveal it. And we all know how boring the MLB offseason is. You couldn't have thrown us a new City Connect logo bone in the middle of an incredibly dull offseason? Come on now. You're going to get me fired up at the end of this show. City Connects should have been released a long time ago. All right. I'm getting off my soapbox. They are changing. Yes, Matt, they did announce something new. Middle of the season, Brian, that would be on par. You got to have this ready to go before the season starts. Come on, man. Come on. I want red jerseys too. Y'all know I love the red. I love the red jerseys that they had in the late 90s. I love the red hats. I would be a big fan of something red. We'll see what happens. We will see. Appreciate all y'all hanging. Hang on, let me do the little puzzle piece. I'm a human, not a robot thing TikTok makes me do after an hour. All right, TikTok, you got anything else for me? Appreciate all y'all hanging out, all 34 of y'all, however many we got. Keeps changing on me, but if you got a comment, I missed it, a question, I missed it, please drop it in. We are wrapping up the show here. We're coming up on the hour mark. I would love to hear from y'all before we call it a day. Maybe we'll do a little weekend spring training live. Would y'all be up for that? Maybe a Saturday or Sunday spring training live? What do you guys think? I'm going to see if I can work something in. We got a couple of things going on. The fam and I do around Saturday, Sunday, around the weekend, but I'm going to try and make it work. That'd be fun. What are my thoughts on Cam Cauley's year ahead? Cam Cauley's getting a lot of hype right now. Cam Cauley, by the way, crushes left-handed pitching. You're talking about needing a right-handed bat that can hit lefties well. Cam Cauley, small sample size, did a great job of that at AA last year. He is at the big league camp. He is in Surprise right now. Cam Cauley could be a bit of a dark horse. I think Cam probably makes a debut later on in the season. I don't see him making the opening day roster out of camp unless the dude's hitting 3 bombs every single game from now until late March. But I do think that Cam is going to be up with the team at some point this year when rosters expand for sure. I could see that happening. But Cam Cauley, stock is rising. Cody Freeman, I asked him when he was on the show with us a month ago, I said, Cody, who is not getting enough attention on the prospect list right now? And he didn't take long to say Cam Cauley's name. He said Cam reminds him a lot of himself, and he is just a baller. Dude is getting better and better each year, and hopefully that is true in 2026 for Cam Cauley as well. Not in Surprise, no. Y'all know, for those of y'all that don't know, I live in Vegas, so I'm close. We're about 4 hours away from Surprise. I am planning to get down there. I'm going to be real with y'all. I don't know if I'm going to do, like a ton of content-y stuff. I might just go enjoy some of the games. Maybe let y'all know if I'm there. And if you want to meet up, say what's up. We'll see. I'm not for sure. I always try and do one weekend down there, but I don't think I'm going to make it like a big content weekend. If I can get some video and throw it up there here and there, sure. But I don't think I'm going to do like a big crazy setup live from spring training. Usually I bring my little guy, bring the wife, bring all the kids, and it just gets a little too complicated. But we'll see what we can work out. I would love to do Ride on Rangers live from the field at spring training. That'd be a dream come true. That's going to happen one day, man. One day. Wouldn't that be fun? You get to do a live show from the ballpark down on the field, just like they do at Rangers Sports Network. That'd be great. Dreams, man. You got to have them. Pete, what's good, man? Who's getting left out of the rotation? I'm going to say Rocker. I think Latz sticks around, and I think Rocker starts the season in AAA potentially. That would be my guess right now, but I think it's all going to depend on spring. You know, you got to see how these guys pitch in spring. A lot of people like what Kumar Rocker's doing, but look, if you're not going to have Kumar Rocker in the rotation, dude has to go to AAA. There is no reason to have Kumar Rocker in the bullpen. Dude needs to keep getting regular starts, so we'll see what they end up doing. It's going to be even more interesting when Cody Bradford is back and when Jordan Montgomery is back. All right, y'all. Hey, look, I'm taking off for now. One quick thing. If y'all are looking for a major way that you can support the show, even a small way, let's just say a small way. If you haven't hit that follow button yet, what are we doing here? Let's go. You see what we do every week. You get the vibe. We hang out. We talk ball. We go back and forth. And I would love if y'all would consider subscribing or following the channel, depending on whatever platform you're on. Some of y'all have heard me talk about the Discord over the course of the show. It's like the one thing that I monetized here on the channel. If you are interested in becoming a part of that Discord, it's a $2.99 subscription. You can subscribe on TikTok. You can join on YouTube, become a member. $2.99 a month gets you into that exclusive Ride on Rangers Discord. It's a great community of people. We go back and forth all times of the day and late into the night. Would love for you to be a part of that. Again, consider it if you are looking for a way to support the show additionally, more than what you already do. But please know your presence here, your comments, hanging out, it is not taken for granted. Thank you so much for all you guys do to support me and to support the channel. We are trying to get a little bit bigger and bigger each and every year, and you guys are making that possible. Thank you so much. Jared, you're out here in Vegas? Heck yeah, man. What you up to? That's awesome. Enjoy, man, and good luck. Absolutely going to need that in a place like this, man. I don't get out to the casinos very often. Like to throw some sports bets down here and there, but you got to have some big-time luck to walk out of Las Vegas with some change in your pocket, that's for sure. So blessings to all you guys. Yeah, bless you as well, Matt. Have a great weekend. Again, maybe we do a live a little bit later on in the weekend after some spring training games are under us. That would be a lot of fun. Yeah, Jared, you did pick a cold weekend, man. It is like cold and rainy in Vegas over the past couple of days. Very rare. But you know what? We welcome it here because it's about to be like 120 and it's about to feel like you're in a hair dryer 24/7. So we'll take a few days of chilly and cold and a little bit rainy. But man, good luck. Have a great trip. Have fun. All right, y'all. Have a great rest of the week ahead. Love you. Thank you for your support of the show. And as I always say, to end every live, God bless and go Rangers.